Alright, I had some complaints because all my cookie recipes have oats in them. So here's a recipe with no oats. Alright, does that make everybody happy? Not to mention any names. I can tell you the area they live in, California, somewhere there. But anyway, so these are without oats. So no more complaints. 1.5 cups flour. Alright. And these are like a dark fudge cookie. So 1.5 cups flour. Okay. 1/2 cup. Alright. This is unsweetened dark cocoa. Good stuff. 3 eggs. Well, generally, I say I wanted to, okay, put all your dry ingredients together. Throw some salt in there. There we go. You want baking soda, baking powder. Sorry. You want baking soda, not baking powder. So you want to put a teaspoon of baking soda. Any brand will do. Doesn't have to be Arm & Hammer. But when you think of baking soda, bam, Arm & Hammer. Yeah. Easy for you to say. Syrup, generally Log Cabin or Aunt Jemima. So certain recipe, butter, Land O'Lakes. Okay, so you got all your dry ingredients in there. You can lightly mix them together. Now meanwhile, you take your chocolate chips, your semi-sweet chocolate, if you want to use semi-sweet chocolate, or not semi-sweet, I'm sorry, baker's chocolate. You can throw 4 ounces of that in there. I don't, because baker's chocolate is unsweetened, so that's the whole idea of using that. It's unsweetened. I got it on a double boiler because you want to melt the chocolate. So let's swing the camera that way. There you go. There's my double boiler, and you can see if I threw some white chocolate in there also. So I have 4 ounces of baker's chocolate and about 8 ounces of white chocolate, and use it on a double boiler. Steam it. You want it to melt. You don't want to nuke it or anything like that. Alright, do the real thing. Use a double boiler. If you don't have a double boiler, you can put a pot with water and then put a glass bowl over the top of that. And there, you got an instant double boiler. That'll work also. Just watch your temperature. Anyway, I can start to stir that to mix it up because it is melting. So you can see how it's starting to melt. I can't film and stir at the same time. So, and then you're going to put your semi-sweet chocolate. You can either melt that or not. I'll tell you how much of that to use. Okay, so there you go. I have all my dry ingredients mixed together. Now I'm going to transfer that out of here into another bowl. Because what you want to do is you want to take all your set that aside. Now 1.5 cups of brown. Oh, you can't see. 1.5 cups of brown sugar. So you want to. All right, 1.5 cups brown sugar. You want to put all your basic kind of semi-wet to wet ingredients in. Alright, and now you want to put your 3 eggs. So remember, that was 1.5 cups of brown sugar. You want to put your eggs in. There you go. So you got your You also want the you want to use 1.5 sticks of butter. You can use any butter you want. I use Land of Lakes, of course. Get the butter open. So these would be considered wet ingredients, not white. And then you want to make sure your hands are clean. You don't want to just get done scratching your ass or something. You know, play a little stinky finger or something like that. So make sure your hands are clean. And then go ahead and turn it on. You want to mix all your wet ingredients together. Then you'll slowly add your dry ingredients. Let me check the chocolate. See how it's doing. It's about melted. Oh, yeah, it's looking real good. Because you're going for kind of a fudge cookie here. Well, let me pause it until I get everything prepped here. You want to add about a tablespoon, or a teaspoon, I'm sorry, of vanilla. I use Tahiti vanilla, as everybody knows. But girls don't wear no tops. Somebody needs to name that TV show that that's from. Alright, we have all that mixed together. The chocolate, as soon as it's melted, which it should be. Okay, now you pour in your chocolate. You want to get that poured in. It's not 100% melted, but hey, for a TV show, we can't show every step. Oh wait, it's not a TV show. But I do want to thank all the people that watch my videos. I do appreciate that. I'm not going to bug you to subscribe, but just watching them makes me feel good. So I've had quite a few views. Alright, turn that back on. You want to mix all that together now. And then if somebody likes to lick beaters and chocolate, then, you know, they can lick the pan. Not that I know anybody that knows that. Alright, and then that's all, you know, mixed all together. Looks good. How long you mix it for, you can't really say. Until it all looks good. You can see that that's all looks pretty good. Some of the butter isn't fully melted yet, but it looks pretty good. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients to that. Then you'll add your chocolate chips last, or your raisins, or whatever it is you want to do. So real quick, to run over the recipe, you started out with 1.5 cups flour, half a cup unsweetened cocoa, dark is the better, 3 eggs, teaspoon of baking soda, teaspoon of salt, your 8 ounces of, the 4 ounces of baker's chocolate and the 8 ounces of white chocolate. You can use dark chocolate, whatever you want, melt that together. 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, 1.5 sticks of butter, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And when you add your chocolate chips, you want to add about 2 cups of chocolate chips to this. You do that last. So add your dry ingredients slowly so it mixes in. You can see it kicked up a cloud. Wasn't after me too much at once. So we're going to let that mix in. And then I say you'll add about 2 cups of chocolate chips, white chocolate, whatever you want. Bittersweet. If you want this really, really dark, the whole idea of using the dark cocoa, so these are like very really dark fudge cookie. Okay, you let that mix together. Once all that's really mixed together, then you can dump your chocolate covered raisins, your chocolate covered or your chocolate chips, your white chips, whatever you want to do. It's up to you for the 2 cups. White chips, dark chips, you know, bitter or sweet, chocolate covered raisins. Now, if you use raisins though, you have to add a little bit more flour to it because it'll be too gummy. Alright, I'm going to add my chocolate chips now. We'll come back to that. Alright. You can see I added my chocolate chips. So mix those together. It doesn't take very long to mix all that together. And then if you want to add a little bit of color to them, you can dump in some white chocolate chips. Just to give it a little, you know, just so you have a little, you know, somebody can't call you racist. Hey, there's white and dark in there, so yeah, no racism here. And lightly mix that together, that's good enough. Now remember, these are a fudgy cookie, so they're not like a normal cookie. So these are gooey and fudgy. Alright, then you put them on your baking sheet and you cook them for 18 minutes. Check them at 12 just to see, and you heat them up, preheat the oven at 3 1/4. And when I come out of the oven, I'll get a shot of that and I'll get this posted. Now, like I said, this is it's a real pasty dough, as you can see. See how sticky that is and nasty. So these are more of a fudge cookie. I usually use a spoon for this part, which I didn't think about. So you can scoop it out with a spoon so your fingers don't get quite as dirty. And just remember, these are a really gooey fudgy cookie. Now what you can do is, if these are too, because these are pretty thin, so what you can do, add a little bit more flour to it, and then they won't quite be as thin and runny. But remember, add flour. You have to go easy on the flour because it doesn't take much flour before you wind up drying out your recipe. So kind of keep that in mind. And I'm not really sure how many cookies it makes. It depends on how big you make your cookies. You know, in most recipes, when they say it makes, you know, a dozen or 2 dozen, you know, that's itty bitty cookies. You know, that's like baby cookies. You know, and I don't make baby cookies. So anyway, you figure there's at least 6 right here. And then this pan's full, so that's another 6, so that's a, you know, that's a dozen there. But like I say, it depends on how, you know, what size you want to make the cookies. And how do you know when they're done? When they're darker. Well, wait, they're dark chocolate cookies. So you can't really go by sight. Me and Michael used to laugh about that. Because you can't, you know, most cookies you can look at them, and bread and, well, not just bread, but muffins. Anything you bake, you can, unless it's dark, you can just look at it and kind of tell when it's done. Obviously, what's going to happen is these are all going to run together, so I'll show you that too. But they're a fudgy cookie. So when they're pull them out of the oven, you'll film that. And there you are. You have, well, there's a cat there. That's Mouse. That's a little one. That's it, just two of you. Anyway, here's the cookies fresh out of the oven. You can see how they're browned, so you know they're done. And you can see how the white chocolate chips kind of stand out. Don't know if you can see. You got two eyes. You got an eye there, eye there. Here's his nose right there. And then his tongue is hanging out right there. That's his mouth. Or you could say that's snot coming out of his mouth. I mean, coming out of his nose and running down. And that could be his jagged mouth, you know, right along the bottom there. So, you know, his eyebrows are kind of high up though. There's one there, one there. But anyway, that's how the cookies look. And you can see how they spread out. So if your first batch is a little too thin for you, just add a little couple tablespoons of flour and it'll start to firm it up. So anyway, that's how you make cookies without using oats. So I hope everybody should be happy now. Anyway, I appreciate anybody watching my YouTube. I've got a lot of views. I'm upwards of, I think I got hit 15,000 views. 36 subscribers, oh, moving right along. Not making any money. But anyway, so there you go. So I will try one in a couple of minutes, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And there you go. And we'll sample one. And you can, well, these are still pretty soft. And you got to be like, man, is that good? I'm telling you. I like the crispy, you know, outside edges. You know, this part here is what I like to chew on. But anyway, you can see how soft they are. And it's supposed to stay chewy though, because they are a fudge cookie. But anyway, it's a fudge cookie. So, really good. Oh, man. Fresh out of the oven. I'm telling you, really, really freaking good. So enjoy. I am.
Oh, shit.